after, because that just started happening.
Yeah, I know, but it's just like it's too much now. Like everything has a reunion show coming to Netflix.
Yeah.
Every show.
Every Nickelodeon show now. I'm pretty sure there's like
Every 90s sitcom or
yeah.
80s sitcom.
And it's because people are. It's like, oh yeah, that'd be so cool. But then when it actually airs, nobody's
It's not
gonna watch
good.
it.
Yeah.
It's not gonna be good.
If Friends came back, I would watch it.
Well, they did. They announced that they're doing a Friends reunion, but they
No,
don't
they're-
know if it's
No, I
real.
don't think that's a
They're
show.
just
I think
appearing
they're
on a
just,
talk show or
yeah,
something.
they just the
That's
reunion
dumb.
is that
Or
they
like
come
a
back
funeral
together.
or something like that. It's like
Funeral?
What?
They're gonna go to a funeral,
We're all
like a
gonna go-
fan's funeral.
We're all gonna go to a funeral together. Hey, if the Friends reunion
Memorial.
happens at my funeral, you guys should be happy. I would be happy about that.
Tommy, again, don't cut any of that out.
no, I'm
Welcome to the Fangeared Podcast, episode 33, part 2.
Dose.
If you're returning from the other video or listening on the podcast, welcome
Then go
back.
fuck yourself.
What? No, we like those people. Those are the good ones.
Sorry.
God. What the
Welcome back.
Why do you always gotta exclude people?
I really like that. I think I had a dream about it the other night, actually. Anyway.
If you haven't seen the news portion, that's part 1. There's a link in the description to go watch that, and then you can come back here, or if you just want to listen to this, whatever. That's
What?
why we split
What
them
was
up. If you just want to listen to this,
I don't know.
that's fine too. That's why we split them up.
Yeah.
We're going to get in depth
And this is
with
more
a
in-depth, yeah.
specific topic and how it relates kind of in a bigger picture. So we are going to get right into that with,
We're gonna drop some knowledge on your ass.
Literally.
You guys have notes?
yeah, we
Yeah,
both do.
we can.
We talked about it for a while before you got here. Tommy doesn't even know the topic. So
Why
everyone
would
Really
I?
put him
watch
on
his
blast.
face as I
He
read.
struggles
No,
to
don't.
come up with something to say because he had no time to prepare.
usual.
Minecraft Education Edition is on the horizon. It's coming out in a few months, couple months, and
2 months?
yeah, soon. That's important. So this has been actually a thing for about 4 years now. It was an independent project between just 2 Minecraft fans who wanted to make an
They're
education.
teachers, actually, too.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Minecraft EDU is what it was called until it was picked up by Microsoft after Microsoft bought Minecraft and was turned into what will now be Minecraft Education Edition. It'll be available to schools and teachers for $5 a student, and it is currently, prior to its full release, in 7,000 classrooms over 40 countries, and about half of those are in the US. So these are the things we know going into this release soon. So the question I stem from that is, what educational tools can we use video games for? Like, or how can video games be used as an education tool? And how does Minecraft fit into that? In what ways can Minecraft be used as an education tool? And then second of all, we have very little knowledge on what these 7,000 classrooms have actually benefited from using Minecraft. There's no data for it, and Minecraft seems to even be a
There's
little
bit of
dodgy.
data.
There's a little bit.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna.
Yeah.
That's the knowledge.
Joey has the data
Can,
for us.
can I answer question 1?
What was question 1?
Video games
As an
using
education tool.
education. Don't they already have that? I mean, that's kind of what I grew up on, the computer games.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Like,
this
there's,
is-
there's typing games, there's math games where you, like, jump to the platform that has the right
The one
math
with, like, the
number.
goldfish,
But this
Right.
is
Carmen Sandiego.
sort of the argument here, or the difference between that or those types of games is that those games you have to follow like what it tells you to do.
Right.
There's a set thing and you just go through and everybody's doing the same thing.
Yeah.
With this, the argument is that they've set up this world and sort of set up ways to learn, but students go through it and learn for themselves.
Right.
That's how it uses the 3D Minecraft aspect.
Yeah.
So I can talk about a little bit more about what it's actually going to look like, but first, I'm curious. Were you done?
I was just going to say,
Sorry, I just remembered.
really quick, what was I talking about?
You were talking about like what it might look like, or how can other games be used.
Yeah,
or
we don't really
what
have a
other-
lot of data for Minecraft specifically, how it has benefited these classrooms
Yeah.
and in what ways it's being used. Because from what I understand, it's pretty much the game, and the teacher or someone can create the learning element within it.
Yeah.
So it can be used across many different subjects using just the one program, basically.
Right.
So we have games, like Brain Age or like Art Academy, even, right, that teach you things.
Yeah, are meant to be educational.
But they're not fun.
Right. Well, some people do think they're fun, and
I
think they can be. But fun is a huge part of it. Obviously, in a video game, you want it to be fun, and if you're secretly learning in the background, like, that's ideal, right? That, I guess, would be the goal with education and gaming.
Right.
Is these kids don't even know they're learning, which a lot of commercials like to say, but it's just never really been the case.
Yeah.
So, what do we think?
Okay, so first, I want to ask you two, and then I'll chime in as well. What you're like when you first heard about this, Tommy? For you, it might be
Just
right now.
Yeah.
Like, what in your mind? What do you think the subjects could be, or like how could they use this?
Like creativity, resourcefulness. I mean, not like your typical math or science or history or something, but just brain development in general. I think
Okay, so you're thinking of more
Minecraft does have some
abstract, like-
value.
Yeah, and I would say the regular Minecraft even has those. I would definitely agree with that, and I would say the regular Minecraft does that too. So they said it was I said it's $5 per student.
Yeah.
That teachers will, or the school's district would have to pay. So I would say that's definitely true. But since this is a more focused educational tool, this is a Minecraft Education Edition, not here's Minecraft.
Yeah.
I would assume it has some different elements, maybe even some way to bypass all the go break the stuff to make the stuff, so that they can just make, right?
Right.
I mean, there's definitely got to be something with coding because that's going to be huge. I mean, that's going to be in every kindergarten eventually.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Coding, physics definitely
Absolutely.
a possibility. Math, kind of the only thing I can think of, but that's why I'm not making math games, is like the one we played where you're a little Martian and you have to jump on the platform that is the right answer to the math problem, right?
Oh,
where
right.
there's
So
a
that
bunch
you-
of different answers.
Yes.
So something like that. Problem solving, I guess, if you not really a subject in school, but I think there are a lot of possibilities even for traditional learning education, like your history and your science, just in that, you can put someone in a situation where they have to choose.
Right. It's problem solving, critical thinking, like
Right.
the broader skills that would help you in any
Yeah.
subject.
Right.
So Joey, what do you know from reading?
Okay. Well, first let me tell you what I like. When you first told me about this, I was thinking like that it would be more in like engineering, because when you get deep into the mods of Minecraft, it starts to get really complicated with what you can do in terms of like switches and this stuff that like I don't understand.
Yeah.
That it's really complicated. It has to do with like I don't know. It's like a lot of engineering stuff. So that's what I thought of at first. But this is what I have learned from my own research. At least one aspect of the game that this study that I looked at was focusing on, what the kids do. The teacher has full control, and their own avatar. So they're in the game too.
Sure.
Then all the kids are at their computers, and then they all go into one place, and for this part, it was teaching history and maybe geography. And so they were learning about like Rome, and so basically the kids are literally inside of a Colosseum.
Oh, that's
And
cool.
they can, so they're teaching, so they built the Colosseum, they built these structures, and then the kids can actually go in and look at them
right.
and see it. So it's fully immersive. The kids can go and explore themselves. There is a storyline attached to the games.
Okay.
So they go in and can talk to an avatar, and the avatar will teach them something about whatever.
So it's like a
They're-
non-playable character.
Yeah.
NPC.
Yeah. NPC. There you go. And then the teacher the teacher has ways of designating what will actually happen and what they want to focus on.
Right.
But it's basically just exploring these already 3D made worlds as a means of learning.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's what it looks like, at least in the study that they're doing. that was also let me just give the credit where credit is due,
Right.
if you will. I don't want to get this
Yeah.
wrong.
While you're doing that, to me, hearing that, I can definitely see the, you have the full immersion. You have this thing that's set up to be a game. One is that I know if I were a kid at that time and Minecraft was a huge thing among my friends or whatever, just being on Minecraft while learning that would be way better than just hearing the teacher, right? It's not fun in the traditional, it's a video game sense. That's not something you're gonna like want to go home and say, I want to play the history Minecraft or whatever, right?
See, I mean, yeah, that's true, but at the same time, think about this. Like, when you're learning about, how Rome was built or something like that,
As like a sixth grader.
and you're sitting, also the demographic
like,
for this
tell me
was-
about how Rome was built now. Sure, yeah, I care. But
the demographic for this was age 11 to 14, so it's a little bit
Right.
older of an audience.
that's until like 8th grade. It's like
yeah,
fifth
it's
grade,
around there.
grade,
I
middle
think there was
school.
one that was a freshman year in high school,
Okay.
one of the groups that they followed. But, if you think about it, like sitting down and listening to your teacher like talk about,
Right.
like read from a PowerPoint, this is what this looked like, and this is how this was.
Yeah.
I mean, that compared to you're this avatar and you're moving around, you're actually looking at what they're talking about.
Uh-huh.
To me, that's just so much more interesting.
And also, you're operating your own avatar as a student, right? And that's why they tell you to take notes, not just because you'll have everything down so you remember it, but also because you're using your brain to write and also so it's more activated.
Exactly.
So doing that while doing the learning will definitely help.
Right.
And
you're more engaged, and it's like I was saying before, you're not just, this article touches on that, where you're not just listening to somebody talk at you, you're actually participating in it.
right. So
And-
so you have that engagement with the actual activation of your brain to move yourself, right? And also the added stimulus of the familiar Minecraft to these kids, I'm sure, where is an added excitement about doing it as opposed to just sitting and listening, which is difficult for a younger child. But my question is, especially because we don't have a lot of what was the benefit, did it help, is exactly that. Like, has it been showing that it's helping?
Okay, so let me talk to you about this article then. So this is called Exploring Applications or Application Attitudes and Integration of Video Games, Minecraft EDU in Middle School. And this is two groups, a few different groups, some from Spain and then some from California. This is by Jose Manuel Saez Lopez, John Miller, Esteban Vasquez Cano, and Maria Concepcion Dominguez Garrido.
Is that the California one or the Spain one?
John Miller was the California one. All the others are Spain. And those are 4 names.
Yeah,
No.
no, I know. That I did know.
So this is from 2014.
And John Miller.
They did these studies, and this must have been earlier on. This is like when it was still EDU, so before
Minecraft got it.
or whoever
Microsoft.
Microsoft bought it. But still made by Mojang. Some people were still involved in that.
Okay.
And basically what they wanted to find out is it effective? What is how is it being used in the classroom? What's the reaction by parents, teachers, and students?
Right.
And what are what benefits are they getting out of it, if not education? Do you just want me to go right into the results, or
Yeah.
Okay.
Show us some.
All right. So basically, what they found, this is across the board, basically majority, the fun aspect. Teachers and students all said oh yeah, it's a blast.
Right.
Everybody would rather be doing this.
Of course. Yeah. It's not working though. Sorry. It's not worth the time.
Yeah. So there's the fun aspect. The engagement aspect was really high as well.
Right.
Everyone was engaged.
As expected.
A big problem was, or not a problem, but something they noted was that the time it takes to do this, as opposed to a teacher lecturing at these students.
Right.
It takes a lot longer.
Sure.
So, and that's, I mean, that's the part of education that is a big debate, because so many other countries spend a lot less time, or either more or less time in class than the U.S. do. We do our curriculum very differently. So there's an argument whether it's like, oh, well, spending a little more time on something that you're actually going to remember is a lot better than just a teacher spouting something at you that you don't even remember. Then it doesn't matter how much time it takes.
Yeah.
And then the last thing, which is, is it actually effective, was basically, they found that it was no more effective than teaching the regular way. So
see, if it's no more effective but no less,
exactly,
that's where you get into like, if the kids are having fun,
right,
but it's taking more time, it's really a toss-up, right? Where it's like,
no, it's not a toss-up, because they don't care if the kids are having fun or not. If they're learning the same amount of stuff, then they can do it in less time for less money.
Yeah.
Like,
why wouldn't they?
This is also like, this is a different aspect of this completely, but I think it's important to remember, like, sort of the world that we live in now and that we're moving towards is a very it's a digital world. It's a very computer centric world, and for kids to be immersed in that early, they are going, like, when you grow up in that, it makes, like, your brain development is based on that, so you completely understand that world,
right.
And that's what's going to push things forward technology wise.
Yeah.
So just having them from that young start to understand things within the context of a video game or a 3D world, I think is so much, it means a lot more to the world that they're going to be living in. Because if you, I mean, imagine the kids, working with computers versus one who, a country or a state that says, no, we want to do everything old-fashioned from a book. Their mindset, once they hit, like, college level and then going into the workforce, one completely focused on computers and one doing things the old way, huge disadvantage.
Yeah. I mean, think about, like, when we were in elementary school, like, in your computer lab at your elementary school, doing your computer class and learning how to type, right?
Yeah.
Is that even a thing anymore? Does it need to be?
I couldn't imagine why, because everybody
every kid knows how to type. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. There might be some sort of class to make sure that everybody's on that path.
Right.
But the amount of time that we spent, which was literally like every year, right? Like, we had a computer class throughout our entire, like, elementary school, middle school,
basically,
careers, and I just feel like it's past that. It's assumed that you know how to do that,
right?
And then you're going beyond that.
Yeah. So I think this is kind of, are we going to see elementary schools, or I mean, this is a little bit off topic too, but could we see elementary schools where your classroom's a computer, or like you're in your class and every classroom is a computer lab?
Yeah.
No more just flat desks.
No, there's no way that'll ever happen.
I was thinking of this.
Guys, every day when I go to class, everybody has their laptop with them open in class.
On a college campus, sure.
Yeah, but why is that any different?
Yeah.
Because for elementary and middle schools, they're publicly funded. Computers cost hundreds of dollars each.
Hey, some schools give out iPads, depending on, your county, or, I mean, it depends on public, private as well, but, like, and they have them with them. They use them as a tool for learning.
Yeah. Because I was just thinking about this, just a quick funny anecdote real quick. I was remembering, like, when we would go to daycare after school and we would have, like, homework time, and when they'd take us to another classroom, and every time that happened to be in the computer lab, everyone's like, I can't work here. There's a computer in the way of my flat space to write my homework down. What do I do? And now we can't do homework at all without it.
I mean,
that ideally that's where the world is heading.
Right, but that's a money issue.
But
also,
I don't know. I mean,
realistically,
I don't know. I think that should be something that is fit into a budget, because I think that's very important.
You can't even fit band class into a lot of budgets.
I know, because I would
arts,
say that
that's another story.
I would say that band will continue to fall by the wayside for computers.
See, I can tell you exactly why, and I'll tell you why tech companies want this as well. and which is why we're seeing Microsoft offer this probably at a lower price than they could.
Yeah. $5 per student.
Yeah. Or even that they're focusing on this in the first place. They want these kids to be very tech savvy and know a lot about this, because that means
they'll
when
they
grow
up
up,
industry and they'll purchase from the industry.
They're going to be consumers and producers of both.
Yeah.
They want their minds to be molded that way. The reason why band is not pushed, it doesn't make any money.
Yeah.
You can't make money doing that, but with technology,
not on
it
the
makes a lot of
scale
money.
as technology, and definitely not where we live.
Yeah. Where do you live, Josh? What's our address?
133.
Oh boy! Wow.
Main Street.
133 Main Street. New York.
New York.
And I want to switch gears slightly, because I want to get into the second question that I have for this topic before we end it. Where do we see this going for other games? In what ways can other games implement educational tools and strategies? And what do we think of games as narrative art to be analyzed in the way that books are in classrooms or movies?
Okay, here's what I'm going to say about other games. I think the reason that Minecraft is going to be used for this is that every elementary school and middle school kid plays Minecraft, watches Minecraft videos.
Sure, it's a big, brand.
Yeah.
For sure.
I don't know if any other game can really, reach as broad of an audience.
Well, how many high school kids before junior, senior year of high school were huge J.D. Salinger fans? But they made us read that book.
Yeah. True.
What book is that?
Jeez.
Catcher in the Rye.
Ah, right.
That's a lot of, well, yeah, any of the, but I mean,
F.
okay.
Scott Fitzgerald.
But I don't
one of my
think
favorite
that's
books. Great Gatsby. Never would have read it if I didn't have to.
True. Or maybe you.
Would have found it later.
There might be an argument that you would have actually
Maybe.
wanted to read these books if you didn't have to.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, how other games could be used then is, make these kids play Pokemon, have them do some damage calculations. That shit's complex.
It is.
Well, we'll really get deep into the.
Yeah.
Well, Josh, you
'Cause
just
it's
brought
all
up a
level two,
really
it's all-
interesting.
There's
point
also
that-
probability.
You just brought up a really interesting point that I have never thought of until right now, which is using.
Why aren't we analyzing BioShock as a narrative?
Well, no, that's what I'm
piece?
saying. Like using it for what do they call them in high school? Like language arts or classes?
Yeah, language arts.
English classes.
Yeah,
Um,
critical thinking analysis. And
use
stuff.
it, and not necessarily for the it doesn't have to teach you something within
Sure.
the story, but it's like, okay, everybody. I mean, sure, it's expensive, but maybe if
Right.
you can work out a deal
Mhm.
with, like they are $5 for every kid.
You know how when you're part of a class or something, and they make you buy a $50 dollars worth of supplies
Yeah,
and shit. Throw a video game in there.
Yeah, but that's $70. that's a little steep.
Yeah,
Also, you
and
have
a
to buy the
$500
system.
console.
I just think, obviously for some people, who I guess you have to have the console too. There's a lot of complications, but
That's it out in the library.
looking at it in a in a vacuum, I guess.
Yeah.
Just as a educational tool,
Mhm.
there I can't think of one reason why it couldn't be used that way.
Yeah.
I mean, it has the same elements.
Yeah.
It's not as-
Aside from the narrative, critical analysis of game narrative or whatever, for games that are specifically made for it as education tools, if that can be done in an effective way that's proven and has the data, then that should absolutely, like we talked about before, that's the way that the world is going, and that is how the brain is going to work with that, right?
That sounds like a great idea. You guys are making good points, but I'm gonna play devil's advocate again.
Again,
So-
for the 33rd time.
So, using a video game as a form of narrative for a critical thinking analysis type class, not everybody is gonna have the same experience in the game. Some games you can take
Huge
different
point of
paths.
discussion. That's even better.
But see,
Also, that happens in books.
no, in a book, the words are written down on the page. The story is written in stone.
Yeah, I mean, there are plenty of linear games.
Yeah, but even as much as like, you didn't, stop and look at a painting on the wall that had a deep meaning, or like, you didn't listen to an optional conversation.
You can gloss over a painting on the wall in a video game just as much as you can gloss over the eyes on the billboard in Great Gatsby.
Yeah,
it's a huge thing, but your average person reading that book doesn't have any critical thinking background or knowledge. Just gonna say, why'd they point that out?
See, you think someone would be that dumb to be like, hey, why is that in the book? Like, not realize that it's in the book.
For high school
kids, yes, Jesus Christ. Oh boy. But okay, this is what I think is interesting, because you're right. Some people would miss that, but if you flip it around, there are so many people who are just not interested in reading. Like, that's not their medium, and so those are the people who are missing those details. And those same people might be the people who would learn
would be interested in
a video game.
Yeah.
Exactly. So, like, incorporating that into the curriculum includes how many more people, and the people who are typically thought of as like, oh, they're the lazy kids, the ones who don't want to do the reading, they just want to play their video games.
Right.
But really, they just learn differently, but it's the same material.
Yeah.
It's the same literary elements.
I was gonna, another counterpoint is the stigma against video games.
Right. Yeah.
We're gonna need at least 4 generations to die out before this will even be considered. Oh,
absolutely.
I mean, BioShock is basically like an Aldous Huxley novel, right? Like a dystopian future, and with all the same elements. There are like multiple books you read in like senior year of high school that mirror the narrative in that game.
Absolutely.
But those narrative elements are sandwiched in between intense gun violence.
Right. I mean, that's a huge... That might be the biggest reason why it will never happen.
Yeah.
Because then you have to have the conversation with parents...
Yeah. And drug use.
Of like...
To make you
this
more
is
powerful.
what's... I mean, Jesus, they don't want us reading about, sex or something like that, let alone playing it out in a video game.
They don't want us reading about the white guy and the black guy who are friends.
Oh, God. Well, actually, it's a white kid. That's the problem. Yeah.
Is that Huckleberry Finn?
Yeah.
Nailed it.
Good
I didn't read a book all through high school.
Yeah, but
a lot of good ones. Tom, you missed out.
I definitely think, as a whole, though, this is video games being used as a medium for education is something that is inevitable.
Yeah.
I mean,
inevitable.
Yes, because if you think about it, I mean, I don't know exactly what life was like, say in the 50s or even before then, but I would imagine that something that children like to do was read, because you didn't really have anything.
That was entertainment.
That was their entertainment.
Electronics,
right? But now our entertainment for children is video games. That is the most popular thing. That and TV and but these visual mediums. So the fact that we're not learning with them, it doesn't really make sense. At some point, people have to think and realize what they're consuming outside of school takes up the majority of their life. So the fact that we're trying to feed in a book that something that they're not really interested in, they don't really absorb information that way anymore, it just doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
And I think you can pull out the same elements within a video game or something else. I don't think we're just putting effort into that.
Right.
That's why it's not obvious.
Right. There is some good... wow. I just totally blanked. Some good stuff could happen once VR is also...
That's what I wanted to bring up also. I mean, imagine a completely virtual classroom. Like, you're not even there. And you can hit, raise your hand, and you can speak. And then your teacher also is wearing a VR headset so he can see everyone.
It's just like some fat dude.
You're just like an avatar.
Home.
But
can you still hit on the girls?
No. Oh, that's true. A lot of... Actually...
You effectively eliminate cheating.
Okay. So...
But what about hackers?
Yeah.
Hackers. Ooh, what if hackers hacked into your VR classroom and got free education?
Damn it, Tommy.
Joey made a
Education's all
joke,
free.
but a lot of middle school and high schoolers learning how to interact with other humans.
No, I mean, no, that's true.
That was
that's
one of the things on the article I read was one of the tests that one of the concrete numbers that they did have for Minecraft for the few that they had were that it did not give children a better understanding of social interaction.
Yeah.
In fact, it
Which
may have
is
been
interesting because, well, yeah, because you're not really talking to each other.
Right.
I mean, people are sitting near each other, and even though their avatars are in the same place, and they can interact that way, they're not speaking to each other or like even typing out, messages to each other. But yeah, no, so that's something that definitely needs to be thought about in that decision-making process, which we still need this social interaction.
Right. I mean, this is the classroom part. Recess and lunch breaks still exist. That's about as much as you get anyway.
I mean, yeah. I guess it would just be more in the discussion aspect.
Or like group work.
Yeah, group work.
Because you wouldn't actually be
collaborating on a freaking Call of Duty or League of Legends team. Do that.
Yeah, I don't want to be part of that.
Yeah, but you wouldn't actually be like interacting. It'd be all through the game.
Yeah, but you have to talk.
Yeah, but if it was like if
I'm
there
going
was
left, I'm taking mid, I'm going right.
Yeah, that's definitely something that needs to be thought about. But
if this Minecraft EDU does really well and has really good results, do you think school districts are even going to have this discussion still?
If it does well and it proves to work, and also, I mean, it would take a while before we know exactly how well it does in schools, because, you'd have to say, how has this improved over time, like test scores or something like that, right? And that would take, obviously, years even, or at least semesters or whatever.
Right.
So, it would be difficult to gauge on how the general, the public would take making this a widespread regular thing and then expanding it to more games, and then the education game developing industry becomes a big thing, and then there are a bunch of options for people making games for education purposes. So that's a ways off for sure. Yeah. However, I think this is maybe a step in that direction of getting there, because it's been happening. We have the math games we've used, right? Even way back when we were in elementary, middle school. Mm. So this is a step in that very long path that we've already been coming down towards that. I think it's just going to keep continuing to go, and in the far future, it's just going to be the thing. No one's going to know what paper is anymore. And we're gonna have so many trees. I mean,
that's a very far future before no one knows what paper is.
I mean, that's interesting because I'm not keeping up on sort of the very young generations, mm-hmm. but I would imagine there are a number of them that are growing up, maybe doing art on paper still, but using a lot less mm-hmm. than what we had to use.
And a lot of art is not done on paper.
Mm-hmm. Right? A lot of art's that's digital. True. But yes, that's interesting, and this is still in the experimental stage, I think. But there's no denying that from the moment computers were introduced into schools, mm-hmm. that this wasn't already starting to happen. Just like the way we knew it as a video game that you sort of just clicked through and it wasn't really interactive.
Right.
And then till now, there's definitely been some progress there, moving towards, having computers and video games being right in the curriculum.
Right.
So, I don't know.
All right. Well, thank you guys for listening. This is a fine discussion, gentlemen. I had a good time.
I learned a lot.
Tell us what you think about gaming in education. Is it the future of education? Is Minecraft leading the charge? What do you think about Minecraft's engagement? However, its results not being any different than traditional ways of learning, and whether or not you think that's worth it in a society that seems to be heading in that direction anyway. Let us know in the comments. Thank you for watching. If you haven't watched part 1 yet, go watch that. Twitter, give me it.
Twitter.com
Give me that Twitter.
Fangeared.
At Fangeared.
YouTube.com/Fangeared.
At Fangeared.
Did we plug MySpace last time?
I don't think we
I don't think. Yeah, but I don't remember.
We don't have one. So.
Not that.
Facebook.com/Fangeared. You can also find some shirts on Redbubble.com/people/Fangeared. You can also follow us on iTunes. All of these links are in the description. Go click them.
Yeah, listen to the Poopcast.
Any sign off words?
I think Tommy has something to say.
And we will see.
Don't say that.
Okay.
See you.
Love on you next week.
Love on you.
Can't say that. That's not ours.
I don't know what.
That's
what
Uncharted.
Oh.
We'll fan and geared on you next week.
We'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye.